Hello, welcome to 30-Minute Mindfulness. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about just looking at depression and some ways to work with that. Depression is feeling sad and depressed for weeks or months on end without reprieve. It's oftentimes we're living when we live with depression, oftentimes these normal tasks like taking a shower or getting ready for the day or even being productive around the house, just they seem like insurmountable tasks. Oftentimes the feeling of crawling into bed and just making the room as dark as possible and throwing those covers over our head is the only thing we feel like doing. Depression does look different for different people, but oftentimes there's these feelings of loneliness, feelings of hopelessness, loss of interest in hanging out with friends or socializing. There's this ever-present sense of guilt a lot of the time. This sense of worthlessness may arise, as well as wishes for not living, not being alive, thoughts of death or suicide. The feeling like this will never end, like there's no way out, causes such grave isolation and hopelessness. Oftentimes, depression can internally be rationalized like, it's just the way I am. I'm always going to be this way. It's just how I'm geared. Depression is a bad day filled with profoundly negative and distorted thinking patterns that seem ingrained in who we are. Despite these feelings of hopelessness and this sense that you can't do anything to change it, depression is treatable. You can change the way you think and feel, and in turn change your life. It's often it's very, very, very difficult, but we absolutely can do it. And professional help is a tremendous benefit. But at the end of the day, what it takes is hard work on your part. It will probably be one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but the thing is, you can do it. There's no doubt you can do it. We just got to keep on keeping on, and that's the hard part. Dr. Deborah Serrani, she's lived with depression, and she explains depression like this. Depression is an experience of depletion. You're worn down, hollowed out, devoid of enthusiasm or vitality. You feel nothing is worth fighting for. So she wrote a book called Living with Depression. And in the book, she describes the importance of feeling into the detail of our senses, using our senses to tap into our awareness of right now. The research shows when we awaken our senses, which is another name for present moment awareness, it helps us to immediately improve depressive symptoms. So as Serrani suggests, we start with seeing. Natural light is one of the best ways to stimulate your sense of sight. When a single photon of light enters the eye, it lights up the entire brain. Natural light has tremendous power in activating the parts of our body that regulate sleep and mood and digestion, and they make it one of the best ways to enliven our sense of sight. So if you're up for going outside, soak up some sun, do a little reading outside, or maybe sit and listen to the sounds that arise, the birds or the wind blowing through the trees. Maybe you find beauty in the flowers that you see or the trees as they dance with the breeze. Maybe you can do a short mindfulness meditation. If you're not up for venturing outside, do your best to open up the blinds. Make your room bright and sit near the light. Look out the window and find beautiful things as you look out the window. Notice something beautiful. Smelling is another way. We can invigorate our sense of smell by breathing in the fresh air, paying attention to the details in the smell, like the sweetness of the flowers, or the bush that has that fragrant smell, maybe the spice of that candle that you lit, the aroma of your favorite meal cooking. Smells are stored differently in our brain, so they have a direct connection to a cascade of associated memories related to those smells, which can bring up pleasurable memories and times in the past that we felt joy. So that can pull us into a joyful state, even if it's just for a moment. Hearing, paying attention to the sounds, the birds singing, the trees dancing in the breeze, hearing that rustle of the leaves, children laughing, or people just living life. Maybe we listen to smooth, soothing music, or like those natural scapes of the ocean waves or the rain falling, those kind of things. According to Sarani, listening to music and sounds and human voices activates the brain's reward system, which releases that feel-good neurochemical dopamine. So, and then now we get to touch. When we pay attention to our sense of touch, we again pay attention to the details. When you take a shower, feel the warm drops of water gliding down your body. Feel that sense of warmth and nourishment from the water cascading over your head. Feel that foamy, soapy glide over your body when you wash your body. When you drink your coffee or tea, feel that warm liquid as it goes down your throat. Really pay attention to those details. Feel the mug, the whole, the warmth that's coming from the mug. Feel when somebody who loves you gives you a hug. Really feel that embrace. Feel the gift that they're giving you. Really be present with the hug, the gift of love that they offer you in that moment. And if you're able to walk, do your best to go for a walk around the block. Feel the breeze brush across your face. Feel the stability of your feet on the ground as you walk. Maybe yoga is a movement practice that would be beneficial for you. There are many short yoga practices available on YouTube. There's from beginner to, all the way, all areas, expert, all of that. But try one in your living room and see if you like it. When you do yoga, feel the stretch. Feel your body tighten and then feel it release. There's also kinds of breathing exercises you could do. There's many things you could do to stimulate touch. There's qigong. There's lots of movement practices that can be very gentle and easy, but yet still evoke that sense of touch and feeling. Tasting. So again, we get back to the coffee. Savor your morning coffee or your tea. Really taste it. What does it taste like? That rich, nutty flavor, that gentle vanilla. Whatever it is, pay attention to the details. Chew slowly and deliberately when you eat your food. Wait to put another bite in your mouth until that first bite is completely gone. Like really dive into what that is you're doing, what that tastes like. Make your meal or your morning coffee a ritual, like with a sense of meaning, something that brings you even the smallest sense of joy, and savor that detail of the moment. Like, oh, cool, I get to have my coffee now. I love feeling that. I love taking my cup and feeling that warmth. It's just for 2 minutes, but I really enjoy that. Try to dive into that present moment awareness with taste. Now, according to the research, those complex carbohydrates like protein and nuts and those leafy greens can boost serotonin, which is our body's natural mood stabilizer. So that's a good thing. We want to do that. And when we eat foods like starchy carbohydrates, like potatoes and breads and pastas, we tend to increase fatigue. So that's going to give us more of a feeling of sluggishness. So that's going to work against us. That's probably not what we want to do. So if you're experiencing a bad day, try to remember that stimulating your senses can help you feel better. It can push you at least into a sense of, okay, I can meet the world. I can meet the world. It's a combination of feeling and paying attention to the detail, which is that present moment awareness. These two things pause those distorted thinking patterns, and we get in motion towards wellness. These practices, as we practice these practices, they become more proficient and more natural. As we practice them, they become more consistent and more a part of our life every day. It just becomes like a natural way that we live. And there's nothing shameful in reaching out for professional help. That can be a really, really helpful thing during times of downcast emotion or depression or feelings of just hopelessness and just stuckness. So with that, I invite you to close your eyes and we will do our mindfulness practice for about 15-20 minutes. So find a posture that's comfortable, something that evokes alertness, but still relaxed. A posture that evokes dignity, whatever that means to you. And just allow your breath to be natural. And let that natural rhythm, that in and out, be your anchor, be your home base to the present moment. As we remember, there's no wrongdoing in mindfulness practice. Thoughts are not bad. Every time we have a thought, it's an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Oh, look at that. How cool. Back to the breath. That's the gift of mindfulness, the awareness of what arises, and then we come back to our breath. Just as we come back to our breath, when we realize that we're lost in a thought or planning or whatever it is, we also too can come back to our breath when we're realizing that we're in a distorted thinking pattern, when we're catastrophizing, when we're making this the worst thing ever. When we notice that, wherever we are, we can just come back to the breath, just for even 15 seconds, and just breathe. Just pause those thoughts and bring your awareness to that in and out. And that's your refuge. The present moment is where we find peace. It's where we find well-being. When we get lost in the thoughts, without awareness of the thoughts, in our life, that's when we develop anxiety and depression and fear. So when we can pull it in and see what's happening as it's happening, we gain tremendous control over our lives. If it's helpful, put your hand on your tummy and just really feel into that rise and fall. Be here, right now. Is there any sense of sadness or depression or a sense of hopelessness that is alive for you right now. Maybe it's situational. Maybe it's from dealing with all the unrest that we're living with right now. Maybe it's something that's pervaded for many years or many months. Is there any sense of stuckness? Or like life is a holding pattern? What arises when we consider that sense of sadness or depression or hopelessness? If nothing arises, that's okay. Don't force it. Just come back to your breath. If something is arising, what does it feel like to live with that sense? Is it sad? Does it feel like all this wasted time? Where's life going? Is it slipping away? Is all this energy spent holding on instead of moving forward? Maybe there's a sense of there's nowhere else to go. This is it. Like there's no other way. What does it feel like? And where do you feel those feelings in your body? Maybe it feels like just a weight, kind of like a pressure all over your body, just weighing you down. Or maybe it's a constricting feeling in your throat. Maybe it's knots in your tummy. Whatever it is, where do you feel that? What does it feel like in your body? as we notice that feeling in our body, is it possible, just for the next few minutes, while we do our mindfulness practice, is it possible to consider what you would be without this? Without that feeling of tightness or anxiousness or ever-present sadness or hopelessness, whatever it is, who would you be without that? In this moment of deeper self-understanding, we're not seeking words of caution or how we might not be able to create or accomplish or do these things. We're simply looking at the feeling. What would it feel like to live different? Feel that feeling. Feel that freedom, that peace, just for this moment, just right now. Trust that feeling is there. It's down in there. How would your life be different if this feeling touched more parts of your life? And what would your life look like if this sense, this feeling, spilled over into more areas of life? And how does it feel to live in this way? How does it feel? Is there a thread of hope? Are there pieces of joy? Some love? Is there some kindness? Is there some beauty? I'll ring the bell in just a minute. For this last minute, just rest in that sense of beauty, whatever that looks like for you. Just that beauty of your breath in and out, or of the birds singing their song. Whatever beauty arises for you right now, right here. And repeat this in your mind. May I feel hope today. May I feel hope. May I see beauty today. May I see beauty in the smallest way, but may I see beauty. And when you're ready, please open your eyes. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to have 30-minute mindfulness tomorrow, and then next week I'm going to switch it. I'll probably do it once a week. I think life is normalizing a little bit for some of us. And I also may switch it up and do some kind of question and answer where we just cover one topic and do a 2 or 3 minute segment on one aspect. So if you have any questions you'd like me to cover or anything, please email me or put them in the comments, and I would be happy to do that. Thanks so much. Thank you for honoring all of us with your intention to build kindness, and may we all find the beauty in our day today. See you tomorrow.